Well, hello everybody. It's been a hot minute since I last recorded. That was a little weird, wasn't it? Well, hello everybody. My name is Carri. I run Traveling Pony Studios and Knotty Pony Yarn, and welcome back to another video. So it's been a long time since I've done a video sitting down, but there's a lot of videos that I actually need to catch up on. I have just been so incredibly busy and it's not slowing down like I thought it was. But I want to come on here today and specifically talk about my winter market. So I have not posted my October market yet. It is coming, but there's just a lot of footage that I need to get through with that one, and I honestly need to re-record the sitting down portion when I was talking to you guys about the market. I'm gonna be honest, I was really fed up with a lot of things, and this was all before I was having to put Sloan down, but it was still at that point where I literally had a vet appointment, I think the Thursday or Friday before the market, and that was when I was basically told he's gonna have to go down to Florida, he's probably gonna have to be put down, all this type of stuff. And then I literally went to the market, and then the market was just not that great. It was okay, but not a market that I'll probably attend again just because of a lot of reasons. But I think when I recorded the sit down portion, just with everything going on and some of the other things that occurred that weekend, I was just really blunt, too blunt. So I need to re-record that portion of the video. It is going to come, but that is why I'm actually going to be doing my November video before that. So when I'm actually releasing this video for you guys, it should be Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you guys have fun celebrating. I'm actually recording this Thanksgiving morning, so I'm not planning on doing much editing on this video, so I apologize if you hear noise. I apologize for my breathing sounds, and I also apologize if there's any breaks in my talking because I just don't have time to edit anything. But I want to say happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I'm so thankful to get through another year. Just with everything that has happened this year, everything I have been put through, I am so thankful to just be getting through a year. I'm so thankful to have the support of my family with everything that has gone on this year. With Knotty Pony, that was a lot at the beginning of the year, and then just in general, you know, everything with that, the horses, the barn, the crocheting, the markets, and everything was Sloan. And I just have one of the most supportive families. When I tell them I'm gonna do something, even if they tell me not to do it, I still do it. And whatever happens, happens, and they still are supportive of me even if it blows up in my face. So I'm always thankful for them. And I'm so thankful for you guys as well, because I have been on and off quiet this year. I really wanted this year to be some big thing on YouTube and da 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 da, and I was gonna have all of this done, but as you guys have probably noticed, I have been pretty quiet recently on YouTube and just social media in general because I've had to prioritize work more than I've had to prioritize social media. But I have received so many thoughtful messages, especially when everything was happening with Sloan. A lot of people checked in on me. You guys sent me messages about it. And then especially with Knotty Pony, you guys have been so amazing. I'm going to stream this into saying that because today is Thursday, tomorrow is Black Friday, and I am doing a Knotty Pony sale. So this is going to be the last time that we have a sale on the yarn for this year. So if you guys are interested, make sure to check it out. It's gonna hit the website at 9 a.m. EST. I know a lot of people technically would start it tonight, but I like to be at my computadora when I have to do anything with sales or website stuff. So usually by 9 a.m. I am inside from the barn. So I'm gonna be doing the Knotty Pony sale, and then as well I'm gonna be adding all of the second chance yarn that I've accumulated onto the website at 9 a.m. So if any of you guys are interested, make certain that you are there and ready, because some colors like I have more second chance of than others, but then some colors I only have like 4 or something like that are second chance. So you know, those do tend to sell out. Like I think the last sale I had on Knotty Pony, somebody came in and bought all of the lime green. I think it was like 14 I had. And yeah, somebody just came in and just bought it all. So make certain if you are interested, I'll send out an email and everything. 9 a.m. EST tomorrow, which I don't know the exact date, so let me look really quick. The 28th. And the second chance yarn won't be discounted because of the fact that it's already discounted. So that won't be discounted, but the normal yarn will be discounted. And as normal, make certain that you do not buy the 12 pack if you want the discount. Honestly, I think I'm almost out of like 12 packs, so I might not even redo the 12 pack for the sale, so that way nobody makes that mistake, and then I'll just re-add them afterwards. Because last time some people were like, oh, I didn't realize. So I just think if the 12 pack isn't on there, then nobody can make a mistake if they want the discount. If you don't want the discount, that's totally fine too. But that's the other big thing. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm trying to think of everything I was going to say. Knotty Pony. Oh, and then as well, if you guys don't know, I am going to attempt to do Vlogmas. I tried to do Vlogmas last year. I actually enjoyed Vlogmas, but I was trying to do like too many complicated things, and I didn't pre-record a lot of things. So I think this year doing Vlogmas, I'm going to pre-record more, and I think that will just set me up for better success in the end. I'm still gonna have days where the vlogs are like, I guess you could say, filmed on the same day, but at the same time I want to have like certain days that I have like specific things filmed, and especially since I want to do a little bit more outside. Like last year for Vlogmas I did a barn tour. I'm considering doing a barn tour again, and so those are things that like I can record in advance that I know are gonna have a lot more clips, and I could just have them pre-recorded. I feel like if I have videos like that kind of added in, I'll have a better success rate. And honestly, most of the probably bits of Vlogmas are gonna be me working through my insane Christmas orders. Guys, I really set myself up because I had like a manageable amount of Christmas orders, maybe like 6, 7. Everything has been more complex pieces, which is pretty normal for me for Christmas orders. I feel like they're all kind of like up there on the complex style. A lot of pet portraits always. And I just had like a couple, but then I was like, man, I want more. And I know why I had a couple, because I didn't want to do many with Knotty Pony having a sale. But I made a couple posts, and yeah, now I have an insane amount of custom orders. So that's probably what Vlogmas is going to be about, is custom orders, and I hope you guys enjoy that. I'm going to try and do it, and I'm hoping. I really badly this year wanted to, well, first of all, I already made my YouTube goal for this year. My YouTube goal for the year was to get to, what am I at, 3,000 subscribers, so I've already made it. I'm at 3,567. And I kind of feel like maybe I could get to 4,000 on YouTube, and maybe I could get to 2K on Instagram, which is like double what I wanted last year. So maybe Vlogmas will inspire me to try and push to hit that 4K number. I feel like for as long as I've been on YouTube, my growth has been so slow, but that's because I'm so lazy. But without further ado, let's talk about the market. So I did not get much footage with this market, and honestly I was so behind. Like, I feel like these last couple weeks, I know things are coming up, but I just feel like I'm so behind. And that's kind of how I felt with this market. I had a lot going on just leading up to the market, and then the market was supposed to rain. So here's what happened. I woke up Saturday morning, it was raining, right? And that was kind of always the plan, was like it had rained the day before, it was kind of supposed to rain Saturday. I put my horses out at like 4:15, it was raining, you know, and my phone kind of showed that it was supposed to break up. So I did everything with my barn, I got the horses outside, I got everything set up for food, and then I was kind of looking at my phone and it said it was supposed to end at 7. So it did end up breaking up by like 7 o'clock, right? Kind of what it was always supposed to do. It was supposed to rain in the morning and then it was supposed to be beautiful for the rest of the day. And so we got the car packed up that morning. I don't like to put plushies in my car if it's supposed to rain and have them in there overnight, just because Dora the Explorer is a little bit old and she can have a little bit of a leak in the back depending on how the rain comes in. So I was like, I'm not going to chance it. So we loaded the plushies up in the morning. It was totally fine. It didn't take that long because I had all my other stuff already in there, like my tents, my tables, that stuff just kind of permanently lives in my car. So putting the plushies in was like 5 minutes. It didn't take that long. And we drove over there. We started getting set up and I looked at my phone and I was like, okay, now there's this huge line of storms in Alabama. Y'all know I live in Georgia. And if you guys are actually part of my Patreon, which my Patreon is completely free. Like, there's no paying to be part of my Patreon. The only difference is I actually talk on Patreon on a regular basis. So, unlike the message thing, I chat a lot more on there. So, during this whole time, I was like posting pictures and I was like, oh my gosh, guys, I don't think I'm gonna get missed. Like, I think I'm gonna get hit by this. And lo and behold, I kept looking at my phone. I kept setting up my tent. I got my tents up. I got my sides up because I usually don't use sides, but I did have them because the last market I did, it was supposed to rain. And so I had them and I was like, okay, let's just like throw the sides up. That way, if it starts to rain, we can close everything and it will keep everything dry. Because it wasn't supposed to be like forever. It was supposed to be like, I don't know, an hour if we were gonna get additional rain. And I think it was about 8:30. And I looked at my phone and there was just huge blob of red. And I was like, oh my goodness. Not because I was at the market, but because my horse is being outside. And I am the most incredibly paranoid person when it comes to my horses. I don't like to leave my house that much, and I don't like to leave my house at all if my horses are outside. So going to markets is like really difficult for me in general to leave. But then when you have the weather factor, it's even harder. And I did have somebody who was coming and helping with the barn, but I'm trying to figure out how to say this the most polite way. Our opinions on how some matters should be handled are different, and I don't like my horses to be out in storms because I don't have shelters in the pasture. They don't like being out in the pouring down rain and lightning. Not everyone feels that way. So I had this problem at my last market with this person. We will see what happens next year if I do markets, if this person will be continuing working for me. I don't know, because this has been a recurring problem. And yeah, that brought me so much stress. I could have cared less about my tent. I didn't have my plushies really up at that point. I was kind of just gonna wait until the rain moved through. But my horses stressed me out so much. And I was going to have to check myself into the Looney Tunes factory because I was losing it. This happened at the last market, like I said, in October. It's one of the really stressful things. Now that was like 20 times more stressful because it was a legit thunderstorm. And I was getting like lightning notifications that were like a mile away. And I was like, oh my God, bring my horses in. And it didn't happen. Like I said, I'm not going to get into it. I'll talk about it more in the other one. At least this one was just like pouring down rain. Of course, when I came home, one of the horses was lame the next day, which like really got me going because I was like, I know they were running around because they did not want to be outside, and he got a little hurt. Yes, this is one of the reasons why I say I don't love markets. It's just really hard for me to do. But luckily, rain moved through. It kind of cleared up. It got like so sunny and beautiful, and I looked at my phone and it said no more rain. So I pulled off all of my sides. Guys, it rained again, and it poured for like a solid 5 minutes before it cleared up again. But I had already pulled off all my sides, so some of the plushies got wet. I was freaking losing my mind, and luckily I think the rest of the day, once that like last like burst of rain moved through, was beautiful. It was sunny. It was like in the 60s or 70s. It wasn't as breezy as they originally said. It was supposed to be super windy, but it wasn't like super bad. I've been to markets where it's been like 20 times worse. This was a lot more manageable, and yeah, it was beautiful the rest of the day, but the rain really did stress me out at the beginning. And because of the rain, this market had just a different feel, because like typically the market for me is the most busiest from 10 to like 1 is my busy, and then the afternoons kind of like, but because of the rain, I think it was kind of quiet at the beginning. Like I think my first sale was more so like an hour into the market, which for this particular market isn't normal. Like I'm usually selling things before the market opens, and I usually have my booth paid back within an hour. But I think with the rain and everything, because people didn't know if it was actually going to stop raining, it was just not a good thing for the beginning of the market. By the end, it was insanity, but the beginning was just slow. Talking about that, I think I should remind you guys, this market for me is the most expensive single day market that I do. It is $220 for a single day 10 by 10 booth space. That is a lot of money for a lot of people. I think for me, I'm pretty comfortable spending that. I think like the highest I would do for a single day is probably like $250, $275, because I paid that before. But there's definitely a ton of markets around me that are not as expensive. There are a ton of markets that I could do 2 days and pay that. Like I think the October market was 2 days and I paid $225. So there's definitely a lot of other markets, but I'm comfortable paying this amount. It doesn't bother me at all. I guess for me, I would rather pay a high vending fee if I know that the payback is going to be worth it. I don't really feel like it's worth it to me to do smaller events with a less vending fee. Sorry guys, I don't know why I'm so popular today. But I don't feel like it's really worth it to me to do small events with a cheaper vending fee just because it's cheaper to get in. Like I'm okay gambling and like losing money if it doesn't pan out just to be at a bigger event. So that's how much that one is. It was a 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. event. I got there at 7 a.m. to get set up, and for whatever reason, it truly does take me 3 hours to set up my table every time. But I will say that I bring a lot of stuff. Like I see a lot of other crochet people and their setups typically are smaller than mine. I bring a lot of items. I have just so much stuff. And really one of the reasons for that is because I only do typically one event a month, or I do one event every couple months. I don't do every single weekend, and because of that, I just have a ton of inventory. So it truly does take a while for me to set everything up, especially the centerpiece. That takes a while. And so we got everything set up. Like I said, the market was good. It was actually one of the few markets I would say I had the least damage occurred to my items. I feel like this year in particular, I have had so many markets where plushies have been damaged. And I feel like this one, I honestly can't think of any notable plushies that got damaged, which is always great because it really breaks my heart when people come in and just destroy everything and then they blame it on you. And I'm like, how is this my fault? Like, pay me for the plushie that you just absolutely destroyed. Sorry guys, I don't know why I'm getting all this. I'm a little afraid because I don't know what all these notifications are. Sorry guys, like I said, I'm not editing this. I apologize. So like I said, had all that going on, didn't have too many plushies damaged. That was very, very good for me. And then the big thing for this event was there was a Christmas tree lighting that was supposed to happen at 6. The market ended at 5. This event is held on like two-way street. They shut down this kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It's not a town because it's not a town, but it's kind of like one of those situations where you have like a lot of buildings and kind of like homes around it. So I don't even know what you call that. It's not a town, but it's kind of like its own thing. Like it's like a little living, like they have restaurants, shops, apartments, green, like amphitheaters. Like it's just, there's a lot for it. And so they shut down the entire thing. And then at 6 o'clock, they held a huge Christmas tree lighting down at the bottom area. So instead of the normal situation where typically this market gets really slow in the last 2 hours, it got packed. And that was because of this Christmas tree lighting. Like tons of people were coming in for that, which then meant that tons of people were coming in towards the 4, 5 o'clock range. Now I will say this is the only market I've ever done where the event organizers were like, you had to leave at 5. Because a ton of people were coming, and I actually had like last minute sales where people were like, oh, can we please look through your bag and buy something? And I was like, yeah, fine, just do it while I'm packing up. But this was the only one that I've had where the event organizers were like, you have to leave, because there was just like so many people that you could have stayed, but they were like, you have to leave. And I was like, that's fine. I didn't really want to stay anyway. So I was like, I gotta get home and take care of my horses. Like, I don't want to stay longer than I have to stay. And yeah, it was a great last market of the season. I didn't really write down any specific things. I had originally done a super good job at tracking what sold, but then there were times where it was just so hectic that I had like 10 transactions back to back. We had a line out of the tent, and actually with how they keep giving me this like kind of corner spot, it's kind of where this drain is, so like they can't put a tent there. I would like take the money or do like the transaction or whatever, and then I would tell them to go around and out the tent, and then at the side where my mom was sitting so she could give them that, and they weren't in the tent, just because there were some points where there was like 20 or 30 people in my tent, and I was like, oh my god, this is way too small of a space to have so many people. So it was quite crazy. I was not able to write everything down, but I do remember some things. I had a ton of sales with my $10 bin, and I'm gonna have a whole separate video coming out later where I talk about which of the $10 items for me have sold the best. I definitely, leading up to this event, put a huge emphasis on smaller items just because I didn't know how the kind of shopping trends would go with the economy and everything. I was just a little bit worried. But the $10 bin was a huge hit. Primarily the mice, the possums, and then the axolotls were really popular. Like I said, I'm gonna have a whole separate video coming out later. And then I will like break things down and tell you like which ones sold the best, which ones didn't sell the best, which ones you should probably do, da da da. Those are perfect for stocking stuffers and perfect for kids. Like nowadays, I'll have kids that come up and they see the middle section, which is why I have the middle section with all my crazy big plushies, and they're always like, oh, I want those. And I'm like, okay, your spot is at the blue bins, and the parents appreciate it because they're like, thank you for telling us where we can shop. And I'm like, it's no problem, because I know that if you have like a lot of kids, or you can just tell some people don't really want to buy a plushie, the $10 things are just like a good range, because if there's multiple kids, it's not a big deal. And then as well for like people who maybe don't really want to buy a plushie, $10 is a little bit easier to give up. I feel like once you get over 20, people start to think about it more. So I do try and have more of that $10, $15 range. And like always, if you ever wanted to know what my prices for my items are, you can always go on my website. Pricing is going to fluctuate so much depending upon where you are and your mindset with crochet. For me in particular, you guys know I have like 50 other things going on in my life, and running 3 businesses and then doing all of the other side things that I do, like I run 3 businesses and don't include social media in that. I don't include the other couple things that I try and do for myself, you know. So I definitely put a value on my crochet work, just because if I'm gonna be doing this, it has to be worthwhile for me. So if you ever wanted to know my prices, you are more than welcome to go on my website. I will say that my prices work for my area, and I will say that my prices might be higher than some, but the general area I live is what I would probably consider a wealthier area, just in terms of the fact that I am north of Atlanta, and if you know Atlanta, then you know that's a popular city. People are a little bit more willing to spend money in my area for plushies. And especially there's like a big kind of like art crowd feeling around where I live. So you definitely get people, particularly with my bigger items, who really do appreciate the artistic side. It's not going to be the same for everyone. Every state is different. Every city is different. I have gone from like my normal markets and gone 20 minutes down the road, and it's a completely different feeling. That's my PSA. So in terms of the big items, I ended up selling my Rumi dolls. I sold my 2 Rumi dolls I had. I was shocked, and I had those at $65, which I was a little bit worried. I was like, are people going to be willing to spend $65? But there was no problem there. I sell my mini dolls for $55, so I knew that since my dolls are so much bigger, I had to go up on them. I sold my Zoe. She was also $65. She was actually the first one to go. She sold before Rumi. And then I sold Glinda. I think I had her at 65. She could have been 70, but I feel like it might have been 65 just because her dress is a lot, her hair is a lot. And I'm trying to think of anything else. Elphaba stayed with me. A lot more people were interested in Glinda, which, come on guys, Elphaba is the best. But the small dolls actually didn't sell, which was really surprising to me, because I would have thought since they were a little bit more affordable, they would have, but the big dolls took all of the attention. I sold my Anchor the octopus. I have had Anchor for close to a year, I think, and I had a hard time selling him, I think because of the fact that he was an octopus and his price. I had my Anchor at $100, and a lot of it was just because I truly did not enjoy making the pattern. I didn't enjoy the tentacles. I find that sometimes working in really long chains and doing bobbles and chains, it can be very painful for my hands. So I had him at 100. He had the painted safety eyes. He finally went to his home. She actually bought that and like 3 other things and came back like later in the day to buy more. I was shocked. I sold my Charizard that I had made just before the market. Sadly did not get great photos of him because I did not complete him fully, and then it has been raining a ton here. So he sold, and then I'm trying to think what else sold that was like really big that I would have remembered. All of the Splooting Pokemon by Sweet Beans Crochet sold. So I sold Espeon, Eevee, and Umbreon. By far, if you are ever going to make a Pokemon, make Umbreon. Umbreon always sells. That is by far the most popular Pokemon. I sold my one Night Fury I had. I only had time to make one before this market. He got sold pretty quickly. And I'm trying to think what else. It is so hard for me to think when I just have so much stuff. Oh, like even if you looked at my bags right now, you'd be like, oh my god, girl, you could go to another market. But I sold a lot. That's just, I just have so much stuff. And I'm so happy to be done with markets until next year. I'm actually probably honestly going to be dropping down on markets. I'll probably do 4 next year, maybe 5. So I'll be doing less markets, mainly single days and the close ones to my house, just because those are easier, that at least if like something were to go wrong, it's a lot easier for me to get home than if I'm really far away. So yeah, now I will tell you guys the number that I think you guys are all waiting to hear. I take transactions a couple different ways. No, I do not have written down where these transactions came from. If you guys think I'm that organized, then you do not know me and you must be new to this channel, because I'm not an organized individual at all. That's just how life is. But I do have the number. I'm not going to give the specific number per se, so I am going to round this up $10 because I did get a sale. Like I've gotten a couple sales from this market afterwards, so let's just say. So in total for the single day event, I made about $3,400. That is definitely, I believe, my highest single day event. The original event that I did here, which is my first market I ever did 2 years ago, I made about $2,500. This market has consistently pulled in for me between $1,000 to $2,000, so that much was definitely very surprising for me. Now I will say, as always, that doesn't take in the table fee, that doesn't take in all of the expense of, you know, yarn, all that type stuff. I don't factor that in. I figure once I pay a table and once I buy the yarn, I'm never gonna see that money again, so I don't really care about factoring that into my plushies or my market. So like I said, no organization up in here. And that also doesn't factor in the extra things like having to have help. All those things very quickly add up on the expense side. But yeah, it was a great last market. I absolutely had a great time. The vibes were much better than the last market I did. And I am so excited to be working on Christmas stuff. I'm so excited to be doing more just kind of like fun things coming up. I can't wait. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving, and make sure to check out the Knotty Pony sale. This will be the last sale of the year. And as always, quick, fast shipping. And I can also ship things as gifts. I've had some people in the past ask me, like, can I ship the yarn as a gift? That's really fine. Just reach out to me separately and I can write something as a gift and we can send it that way. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in whatever's next. Bye!